Hi YouTube. So in this episode I ventured down to Martin Rich's workshop in Worcestershire and I had a chat with him to see what he thought on this season's BDC and what he wants to do to the Driftworks R32. We also touch on the tyre controversy that happened this year at the BDC and what... I also touched on the tyre controversy that happened this year in the BDC. It's not really been spoken about, so I just wanted to ask what Martin thought about it and how it affected his season. So yeah, hope you enjoy the video, and as always, any questions, let us know. So let's talk about you, Marshall Richards. Oh, walking away. Talk to me about the British Drift Championship.
I had a wicked year this year, loved it.
First year as part
of Team Driftworks, and being given a car, such a legendary car as well to drive, was not only a massive exciting opportunity but also a very nervous opportunity as well, because so many awesome people have driven that car and it's had such good results. You know, I want to drive it as best as I can and, you know, do the best for the team that I can as well. Yeah. So there was a lot of mixed emotions there, should I say, but I've had an awesome year. I haven't crashed it. Properly. Yeah, that was a little.
That was a little boo-boo.
Little boo-boo. It's done me absolutely awesome. I love it. The more I drive it, the more I get to grips with it. You know.
I mean, it really was a testing season. I mean, how different are these two cars? Because they're a similar recipe.
They're a similar recipe. That car's lighter.
Really?
More horsepower, yeah. But it kind of reacts a little bit different. I think that is more aggressive in the power delivery and the grip. So where this was probably didn't have quite as much grip, it was easier to steer and easier to put where you want, where that's a little bit more angry.
Because the turbos come on very differently, don't they?
Yeah.
So where does it?
This one probably comes on about 4 and that one probably 5.5.
Oh, okay, so you've got to drive it.
Drive it, which I love. I love laggy setups and driving the car, but that was, especially in the tighter stuff, say T-side through the tighter sections, it was a lot of hard work to make you move onto the door and catch up with certain people who had not higher spec car, but you know, more usable power bands and different setups kind of thing. So that's one thing I would like to maybe work on over the winter, to try and make it more drivable or have a bit more usable power band, really. So
BDC then, you finished overall 4th?
Overall 4th.
We won't go into individual results, but I think you drove well all year.
Thank you.
Coming from the expert behind the camera. But you didn't go out, you didn't lose because you did something silly.
No.
You got knocked out generally by
it's kind of always the case for me. It's not making a mistake that loses battle, it's just either the other person's better or
other reasons. Other reasons.
Or other reasons like that, but
round
2 was Connor, but he ended up coming second.
Yep.
Bridges, he's all over Sutton. What a run! Wow.
Round 3. Matt Carter, who won.
Carter, who won?
Yeah.
Did he win?
That was the NEC one, wasn't it?
Didn't Jack win that?
Or Jack, but anyway, it was like finished high.
Yeah. Round 4 was Driftland, was Aramus, Viscolassus. E30, and then the next one he broke a drive shaft.
Yeah, of course he did.
That was a guy who caught me off guard that day. when that car works, he's a very, very good driver as well.
And then round 5.
Round 5
is that Matt
was
Carter?
T-side, Matt Carter again.
Yeah.
Matt Carter's beat me every time this year.
Yeah.
In an R32 as well.
Yeah, an R32, very similar setups.
Very similar
really.
setup, yeah.
But
More horsepower.
More horsepower.
Again, anti-lag and a lot more usable power bands.
Sequential gearbox as well.
Sequential gearbox, which after driving Phil's car is incredible.
Incredible.
Dear Santa.
But yeah, so other than that though, you're happy with the year?
Absolutely loved it. I'm happy with my result. Obviously, I'm a competitive person, I want to do better, but as the first year driving that car...
And your first full season of BDC?
First full season back doing BDC, after a fair few years around Europe. And, you know, the whole BDC's changed. Yeah. You know, it's grown up and it's getting bigger, there's a lot more hype about it. It's actually really enjoyable to go to the events.
I think David coming in has made...
Massively, yeah. And
the reason.
It's brought another step to the level of the drivers in BDC. You know, the UK guys are really stepping up now. Just to see crowds of people with phone lights in there. It's just that, you know, that's what we love drifting and what we want to see.
You want to be able to go there and hear the crowd through the sound of your exhaust and everything else, which is great.
Really, really cool to see that.
So let's talk about the other thing that happened this year in the BDC. There was, not going to mention names or people, but there was an issue with tyres.
It came apparent at the end of the season there was an issue with tyres.
I'd say that these are a 2.6, 2.26.
Because all tyres measure slightly differently, don't they?
Yeah, you can have a little bit of
look
the way that it rolls
more.
off. So a Kumo, for example, a V78 is square-sided there.
They have this pointer, don't they?
Yeah,
but
so
assuming
this is the pointer, and that measures 26.
Is there a tyre not on a bead? Because look how much longer, look how much more. It's like that much more. Yeah.
That's a lot of tyre.
That's like what, 15% more grip?
Yeah.
I think you need to go and take a tape measure.
Yeah.
Shall we all go? Lads,
who started
roll round let's go and find
Martin started this rumour.
I was told from somebody else.
You didn't break any rules.
It's motorsport.
Yeah.
This happens across all the boards of motorsport. Rules are there.
Well, it happened in Formula 1, didn't it?
Yeah, exactly. The rules are there to be manipulated as far as you can take them.
Yeah.
Until somebody finds out and clamps it down.
And
so
find out too late, unfortunately, to make a difference.
It's kind of interesting to see people taking it that seriously and trying to get as much of a competitive edge that they can find a loophole and
just shows how far the sport has come for a manufacturer to be willing to do that to try and win. But I mean, you had an opportunity at Drift Matsuri to use these tyres, and how much of a difference was it over the 265 Achilles and Westlake that we were all using?
I got a chance to try those tyres at Matsuri and I noticed the difference.
Is it because
everywhere where I thought the car was lacking grip or thought that I didn't have enough grip to keep with the person I was chasing who beat me, I felt in those tyres. I could get on the power earlier. I feel like the forward motion in those tyres was incredible. I reckon I was up 5 to 10 miles per hour faster through one
because
of the
they're 40 mil across the axle, 40 mil wider than what we were running.
So you've got 14 millimetres.
And less stretch as well because it's on how it works. So
wouldn't say the tyres were as good as side biters, the Westlakes. So your off power grip.
Oh, okay.
They kind of failed. They were a lot worse than the Westlakes, I thought.
Oh, okay.
But you could make it up by getting back on the power earlier and actually getting a lot more forward motion in the car.
So having used the tyres, does that change your feeling on the season? Because I spoke to you a couple of times after you got knocked out, and you were very frustrated, and you were like, "What am I doing wrong? What is?" Especially after the NEC round.
Yeah.
It was like, what more can I do?
Yeah. When you've set your car up perfectly, you think it's working really well, and then somebody managed to pull away with you when you were with them up until a certain point. I suppose I was disheartened from it all, really. But yeah, after trying those tyres, I kind of understand that tyre was better.
Yeah.
That car was better because not necessarily because of the power, not necessarily because of the driver. I feel it was maybe the tyre actually helped.
It's a game. It's a competition.
It's competition. It's
if the rules are, and it's all a ruling issue. It was all how the rules are. They've got to be stamped 265.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's it.
So hopefully, looking into the future, the rules are going to be changed, and there's going to be a lot more level playing field, and we'll be back in business.
And people are aware of it now, and will definitely not happen again.
Yeah.
Definitely won't happen again. So let's talk about the Skyline. Should we go over here? Meander.
She's resting after a hard season. Bless her.
I'm just going to stand there now.
Yeah.
Casual. I can't even get the Skyline. I've got a wonderful pole. So by car standards, it's actually quite an old car.
It's quite an old car, and in modern day pro competition cars, it's a very basic setup.
Because there's no weight saving at all in this, is there?
No weight saving. It has a fiberglass door, Lexan windows, fiberglass boot lid and bonnet.
Yeah.
That's basically it. There's nothing cut out of it. There's no, all the metal behind the rear quarters is there. There's nothing, no weight saving metal wise gone into the car. It was a road car. It still is a road car.
Yeah.
You could put an MOT and plates on it and it would easily be a road car. Indicators still work, headlights still work. It's a road car.
Yeah.
So
it's to finish fourth in a road car.
I'm stoked, yeah. But it's a very well set up car.
Yeah.
It has the right suspension on it, the right tyres, and a bucket load of power.
Yeah. So what's the plans with this then for the off season?
So my plans are to. I always found it quite hard to drive in the wet. Balance wise, it didn't really have.
Have you had this on a
traction
corner weight?
I haven't personally, but Phil did when I think when he last put the white slab on it.
Oh, okay.
So, and from speaking to him, I know it's like 100 kilograms lighter than the 33. Yeah. But the balance isn't the best. It is a little bit front heavy. It also still has the standard fuel tank in the back.
Okay.
Which is, as well as, we're running really close to concrete walls now, it's a bit of a safety worry for me. And it's always been in the back of my mind.
Yeah.
I don't want to stove the back in because
there's a fuel tank now.
Yeah, and that could put me out of the competition for the weekend, let alone have a fire. So, with that in mind, we're going to go on a bit of a weight saving program, move the radiator to the back, put a fuel cell in the back, a crash bar system in the back as well.
Are you cutting anything away? Are you going to make it space frame almost?
Almost, yeah. I'm still undecided yet. We'll see what happens when we start cutting it down.
Yeah.
If to leave the chassis legs in there and just build a crash zone, or just straight off the back and build up what we've got.
So is this something you can do yourself as well?
Yeah, and I'm very good friends with Huxley, and he's done all my fabrication work since I've been here. So, me and him will work together and
get it
work out. Get it good, yeah, basically. And therefore, when we move the radiator in the back, we can move the intercooler further in.
Because it was at that NEC event you had a run-in in
Phipps, yeah.
Yep.
And that actually punctured an oil cooler because it moved the intercooler back into the oil cooler. So again, these are all things to keep us in the competition, make the car easier to work on. If you have an impact, front or rear, there's a crash zone of protection bars and there's nothing else. It's a worry if you have an impact on the back. The original metalwork there is then going to be pushing into the tyre.
Yeah.
It's a lot harder to fix in, say, a 5-minute rule. Same with the front end. I think we're going to take the tubs out the front and put a strengthening bar in there and then build up.
But it's not tubbed either, is it?
No,
it's still, so you're just going to chop it straight back from the turret?
Yeah, and basically kind of do the same idea as what we've got here with a sport bar for the chassis legs, bit of impact protection. The intercooler move further in, so if we have any frontal impacts, it saves the intercooler and things like that. So
you are going to keep the lights there?
100% keep the lights, yeah. It's got to look like a car. That is the brief. It has to look like a car.
Yeah.
I want it to look like a car. It looks cool how it is. Yeah, just get a little bit of balance towards the back so we can get a little bit more traction in the wet, hopefully.
Yeah. And are you going to change, because we spoke about the power band, are you going to change anything to try and make that
I've got
more
an
drivable?
idea that I want to talk to Phil or see his ideas, but I've been speaking to Greg from ProTuner, and actually is...
Why are you
Keeps
laughing?
on wondering, that was all. And you're just going, sorry, carry on.
Martin Wanacott, who's got a JZX100, actually uses a NOS setup with a big turbo, and the idea is to maybe use NOS to a power builder before the turbo cuts in, which is a good, cheap, reliable way of...
So they'll just make the usable power band slightly lower down. And
I love the turbo, how strong, how much torque it produces is, and everything. It's just if it came in a little bit sooner, or was a little bit more drivable off boost, it would make a world of difference. So my idea is looking into a NOS setup. To build power before the turbo comes in.
Fantastic.
But yeah, again, I need to think
NOS
about that.
NOS is cool though.
It's a cool idea.
You're going to have a bottle on your passenger side and just twist the knob.
It's a reasonably cheap idea as well, really. Everything's there on the car ready to support it. There's a ECU will support it. It's just a bottle, a wet kit, and a bit of a mapping.
What about the danger to manifold?
Shut up!
Will the floor fall out?
It's all about in the way you tune it, really. Not bringing the NOS in too early and...
You missed that, right?
I know.
Well, it made the block. I got it, and Martin looked at me. I was a bit laughing.
I'll have a laptop there, and if it's a danger to manifold, I'll
twist.
switch it.
Double shift up.
That's just an idea that I sit here looking at the car a lot, thinking, how can I make it win next year?
Because the alternative would be changing turbo setup, changing the
turbo setup, maybe the engine setup. Like
V8.
How far do you go? But I'm all about small improvements to take me to the next step. There's, we could put a 2J in it, but I really like 1Js. I really like.
And also, if you do a little change, it's essentially driving the same car again, so you keep the same.
There's nothing worse than making a big change and you're driving a completely different car.
Yeah.
Like, I've driven this car for a year now. I kind of know a few little tweaks I want to do. One's power band, two's balance, three's maybe try and make the front a little bit easier to steer, maybe. And just develop it a little bit further,
Just drive it.
Yeah.
So I think that wraps it up. Judging by the way we're talking, you are going to be a Team Driftworks driver next year.
Am I?
I'm guessing so. Yeah. You passed. This is an interview.
Tiny pockets.
Yeah, so it looks like I'm in for next year, which is great news. I'm really stoked and happy about that, and looking forward to doing you guys proud.
You always do me proud.
Good. And get some silverware next year.
Some silverware.
Yes.
More than Tess?
Well, it has to be. It's like Tess and I take it in turns to get drunk, and one looks after each other. Yeah. So Tess had her year getting all the trophies. That's going to be my year.
Okay.
Wonderful. Thank you two for hosting me in this cold winter's night.
Coming to see us.
Yeah, thank you.
So I think next time we'll be here, the car will look very different.
Yeah. The plan is to start getting the angle grinder on it this weekend. I'm sorry.
Take some photos.
And,
well, you can't take some photos, but you can.
Yeah.
Because you've broken your
We'll
phone.
keep that documented.
Yeah.
Keep it all up to date, and we will see you soon.
See you soon.
Thank you very much.
Cheerio.
Bye.
Woo.
See ya.
So that's Martin Richards' review onto the 2017 BDC season. Couple more videos for you to follow. Phil is going to do his season review, and then I'll venture over. Yes, you are. And then we're going to go have a chat with Richard. So yeah, hope you enjoy. Like, subscribe, and share. And if you want to ask us any questions or get Martin to answer any questions, please let us know, and we'll give him a keyboard. See you later.
I get mad frustrated when I rhyme. Thinking of all them kids that try to do this for all the wrong reasons.
How many mics do you rip on the day? Many money. Say many. How many mics?
Say me say many, many,